Hi, and welcome back to Quilting Confections Friday updates in 2023. I'm glad you're here. Today, we are going to have a techniques video for you, and we are going to show you how to use the Eleanor Burns Flying Geese rulers. We have two sizes. The large one is for a 4x8 flying geese, and you also can make a 2x4 inch. On the smaller size, we have a 3x6 or 1.5x3 inch flying geese. And here's my samples so you can get an idea of the sizes. Those are the two sizes that we're going to make today. So we'll pause here and we'll pull out our new camera. Thanks. Okay, to get started, first you need to cut your squares for your flying geese. And in this first example that I showed you, the blue triangles will be the largest square. So for a 4x8 finished geese, the blue triangles will be the 11-inch square, and 9.5 inches is the print for the nose of the geese. And I have a smaller set here. The print in this case is the larger square, and it is 7 inches, and the pink here is 5.5 inches, and that uses the short end of the ruler to make a 2x4 inch finished geese. So the first step is to put these two pieces right sides together, and I found it helpful. It doesn't tell you this in the instructions, but I found it helpful to put the line on the fabric before I put them together. So you have the line corner to corner on your pink fabric, and then I also put it on the right side of the print fabric so that you can line up these accurately, and it kind of centers your pink on your print fabric. So you go ahead and you draw that line, and you're sewing a 1/4 inch on either side. You're cutting it apart. You'll need a larger ruler for the 11-inch square, but this 12-inch ruler does well for this. And so once you've cut them apart, you're going to press towards the larger triangle. And I'll do that off camera here. So I've pressed both of them towards the large triangle. And now the idea is you put them together with the opposite colors facing each other, right sides together. I'm going to give that another little press. And what you're doing is matching the outside edges. These seams will not line up, and that's okay. So the outside edges are lining up, and I have opposite colors together. And you can put a couple pins in there to hold it in place. And it's ready to sew. You're going, actually before you pin it, you might want to draw your line. So now you're going to draw a line corner to corner going across that first seam, stitch on either side of it, and I have the example here in my larger sample again. So there I have my line drawn corner to corner, stitched on both sides. So now I'm going to cut them apart. This is my larger ruler here. And then you end up with this. It's offset, and that's okay. So in between these two seams here, between the two triangles, you're going to cut a little notch. So I'm going to look here to make sure I'm getting it between those two seams. You're going to cut a little notch right there. And now let's see if I can bring my camera over to the, we're just trying out this new little camera here. And I'm going to press. I'm going to press towards the large blue triangle again. And then I'm going to flip it around this side, and that little notch allows me to press in both directions. And I'll flip it over. You can see here that I have it going pressed in either direction. And I will do that again on the other one. So now that you have them sewn together like this is when you're going to actually use your ruler. And this is why I have a little rotating mat here is recommended. If you don't have a rotating mat, you could also use, I've got a small table size mat as well that you could probably spin that around as well. But I'll use this rotating mat for now. So what I'm doing is lining up the geese mark on the seams of the geese that you've sewn together here. And so we're going to just trim right around this entire ruler up here, and then I'm going to go across here and I'm going to cut it right in half. We can take this back here and cut this piece right in half, and it'd be nice if it cut right through. There we go. So this is cut, and then I'm going to rotate the mat so I don't have to lift the ruler. And now I've cut on all four sides of the ruler, and you have your flying geese. So you're going to do that again. I can do that again for you right now. I'm lining up the geese with the seam again. Cut this side, cut here, cut here. There, so we have two flying geese. And then with that other one that I haven't pressed yet, you'll end up with two more. So every time you make, you put these two squares together, you're going to end up with 4 flying geese. I'll just pause the video here and I'll show you the smaller one. All right, so I'm going to show you again the steps, this time using the smaller squares. So we're at the point where we've sewn that initial seam on the large and small squares, and I've cut them apart, and now I've put them together, and they have that funny where the seams are offset. So I've got them right sides together. I have opposite colors next to each other, lined up the outside edges, drawn the line corner to corner across the original seam, and then sewn on either side of that line. So now we're going to cut that apart. We're going to cut a little slit in the seam between those two funny seams there that are offset. And it doesn't matter, just so long as you're between those two seams. And then we're going to press to the larger triangle, which was the print side. So I'm just going to go over here off camera and give it a quick press. Oops, and I'm going to press one direction and then the other direction. And I'll do both of them. So now you can see that I have the seams going in opposite directions, and this is where we're going to use the short end of the ruler this time. And this time the geese is or the goose is the solid pink print. So I've lined up the red line this time for the 2 by 4 inch geese along my seams, and I'm going to trim all the way around. And you can cut this piece right in half like that. Now I'm going to turn my, oh, I'm gonna line that up again. And then I'll just turn this around, line up the red line on the edge of the piece, and I can trim off that final side. And there you have the smaller size of geese. Okay, so there you have it. 2 different sizes of flying geese from one ruler. We have a 2 inch by 4 inch and a 4 inch by 8 inch flying geese from this ruler. One thing I forgot to mention is that these rulers do not come with a coating on the back. So in this instance, I've used Invisigrip on the back. You could also use True Grips or sandpaper dots, whatever, just to keep your ruler from slipping on your fabric. And I thought I would just show you a couple of examples of where I use flying geese. Most frequently, I'm using them in blocks like this sawtooth star in this quilt. You'll see different sizes. There's a tiny one here, a larger one here, and we have a lot of them in this block as well. And that's where I tend to use flying geese the most. But there are certainly quilts out there that are completely made up of flying geese. So this is a great way to do it and make a whole bunch all at once. So thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website for classes coming up. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much.